Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, capital markets analyst and host of your cannabis business podcast. Back with us is Rohit Srivastava, chief investment officer and portfolio manager with Saroj and Bhanu Fund, to talk about our AI Investable Cannabis Index with predictive analytics, technical analysis, and offered to accredited and institutional investors now. So Rohit, thanks for being back with us.
Thank you, Josh, for having me. The weekly drill which we have, we're talking about our disclosure that this is not a financial advice. This is not any professional advice we're giving. This is all for learning and telling us what we are doing, and whatever you guys do, and do it by yourself and do your own analysis, and the risk is on all of you. So just want to give the disclosure on that. We talk about various indexes. One of the indexes is the cannabis indexes, is thinking of it as a VIX index, which gives you an idea of what the volatility is, how the wallet is going. This cannabis index is equally weighted, tells about where the cannabis market is going. This is where the cannabis market was going about since the inception. This was about 2 months ago. This was about a month ago, last week, and this is where we are today. And you can see that it came back to the drastic support of 475 with all the craziness which you are seeing in the last 1 week. But the the interesting thing, it is still hanging on to 475. But there's also on the cash flow. On the cash flow side, there's an increase in cash flow, which really gives me an idea that even though the price are falling, there's a massive amount of buying that is happening right now. And I think which makes me wonder that this is the selling is happening, and I mean the prices are going down. But I think at the same time, people who are interested into this kind of industry are getting in, buying some stocks in there. So still the market could go either way. Still, in my view, it's still testing. So hang in there and wait for the right opportunity to get back into the market.
There have been a lot of margin calls.
Is it?
And so those margin calls are forced liquidating a lot of those securities, driving the prices down. So that's a buying opportunity if you're, if you feel like buying. I still think it's a little bit iffy right now, but you can always dollar cost average on the way down. But I was looking at gold as why was gold going down? And that also was because of margin calls. So
right.
For confidence, it's good, but we'll have to see where it goes.
Right. And on the short-term and long-term buying, which is the AI-based index, which we buy and sell cannabis to, which is tradable, which is buyable, investable. We had one which we sold last week, but this week we got into 3 of them. Wow. And 4 of them. And the 4 of them, ABBV, Canopy, MO, and ZYNE. Those are the 4 ones which we got into that. And they are doing, pretty reasonable. And even now, actually, this is data as of yesterday. But even as of today, most of these are still holding their profit. So I would say that I think, and the signal can turn anytime negative, right? There's no guarantee in that this is going to be a long term, and that's why this particular investment is short term and based on completely our indicators, which basically finds out that if it's a right buy or not.
But looking at MO and ABBV, that would take 3 months on average for somebody to get a 5% return. So
that's correct.
Even if it was 1 day, errors, that's a good ROI right there.
That is an amazing ROI, yes. And like for our viewers, one of the question which might, magically, how does magically this finds out, right? And I'll go into detail if people want to know that. But it's not a magical aspect of it. It is all the data of buying and selling aspect that happens, which triggers saying that that this was actually the 3-3 was a bad day, but the buy and sell which happened a couple of days before that would actually trigger to tell that we had it looks like a good buy at that point. So this is the overall summary of where we are on the Investable Ai-Based Cannabis Index, all the trades which was done since inception. And we'll keep adding into these as we buy and sell into aspects of this. As of the overall statistics of what these indexes are doing. What this index is doing. We currently own 4 equities, and so we had a trigger on 219. So there's an overall trigger which basically identifies the risk of the market. So 219, there was a high trigger, and that's why most of them it's sold off. And this year we have about gains of 4.10%, and since inception it has been 38-ish% on that. Just giving you a brief understanding and comparison as to how it compares with the other ETFs. And this is something which we will keep updating every week. So going forward, this is what you're going to see. How is the Investable AI-Based Cannabis Index is doing? Overall, 475 still holds off from investment and getting into point of view. I think it still looks good in my view, and but still with caution. It is testing, but I think in my view it's probably holding up to 475 for a couple of months now. And for a short term, which is for the Investable AI-Based Cannabis Index, we basically have bought 4 of them this week, and let's see how it goes this another 1 week on that. That's all I have for that. So 2 major things which I wanted to let our viewers know is that this is an index which I had created, which basically identifies the overall risk of the market. And what this overall risk of the market really means is that whenever the signal, the 13-day, and whenever it converts from negative sign to a positive sign, that is where the risk of the market is increasing. So like you can see here that, that there was a risk here earlier this year, but after 2-3, the risk of the market has not been there. So that's when the risk actually, and that's where the trigger happened. It's 219 that the trigger happened, that the risk of the market was pretty high, and it has sustained to be high. So we will wait for this to turn negative to really tell that the risk of the market is a lot lower than that. And I mean, if you want to go back to history and check it out, like I think during the May timeframe, this was all very positive until 5/8. And this is where, and actually the market started growing up on 6/4. So this particular tool predicts stuff maybe like 3 or 4 days before the actual trigger things happen. So just want to do that. And the other aspect of it, similarly, the other tools which we have, which basically gives you an idea that which particular stock to invest in, and that's the beauty of the AI part. That I want to reiterate that's a part of the beauty of the AI. That the intelligence not just looks at about the technical indicators, but it also looks at what piece of other information most of the traders or most of the funds don't use that. I'm going to summarize that and say the overall the market is still at risk, but still the product believes that these 4 there is some gains associated with that which they can capitalize. So it has got that, and maybe it will fall, and as soon as it falls and it reaches a limit of accepting the loss, it'll probably sell off and move forward on that.
Our AI-based robot doesn't have any emotions, so doesn't make the robot a sociopath at all. It just means that it's a smart robot. That's right. Even in a situation right now where a lot of this trading is emotional, we're still trying to stay afloat and let the robot do its thing, right? So right. We're not involved in the emotions, even though the market is systemic and there is issues. Nonetheless, there's our opportunities.
Yeah. Exactly. So because the idea behind this is all is that we got to get out of emotion, because like last week I heard various things. Oh, Biden won that's why it's going up, or coronavirus is there, that's what's going to, and I believe nobody really knows why the market is actually going down. So
or up. It's schizophrenic. It goes down and up, and it's all over the place, and it's for the same reason. Oh, corona fears have slowed down. Oh, corona fears are back, and it's schizophrenic headlines. There's just a lot of money to be made as traders buy and sell, and I don't think it matters what the reason is. Our robot doesn't care.
That's correct.
All right. Looking forward to I appreciate it. Looking forward to next week and see what happens, because this is some crazy volatile times right now.
Yes, that sounds really crazy.
All right. Well, they can get a hold of you at Rohit at AskSaroj.com, or come back to the Talking Hedge. So with that, we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. I want to thank my guest, Rohit Srivastava. He's Chief Investment Officer and Portfolio Manager with Saroj and Bhanu Fund. Thanks again.
Thanks, Josh, for having me.
I'm Josh Kincaid. This is the Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't. And I'm out.